the Anglican bishop brings an Easter message of a brighter tomorrow. The Oistins Festival chairperson responds to critics of the name change. And in sports, gold for Barbados at Carifta Track and Swimming.
Broadcasting from our studios in the Pine St. Michael, this is CBC News Night, starting now.
This segment of Weekend News Night brought to you by Sagicor, wise financial thinking for life.
A very good evening to you with a Sunday, April 21st edition of CBC News Night. I'm Ryan Broom in our top story. The Anglican Bishop of Barbados is encouraging Barbadians to believe more peaceful and prosperous days are ahead. The Right Reverend Michael Maxwell delivered this message of hope in his Easter address to the nation. He urged Barbadians to face the numerous societal challenges with the optimism reflected in the story of Easter. The Anglican bishop says he strongly believes God will raise up good days for Barbados once again.
We declare the good news that with God, all things are possible, and that He's into the business of restoration and making old things new. The observance of Easter gives us that confidence that while these days are evil, these too shall pass. For God will raise up good days for those who trust and serve Him. That's the essential message of Easter, the resurrection experience. The resurrection experience, my friends, is that of experiencing the restoration of a good life that had ceased to exist.
Now, Bishop Maxwell also called for greater reconciliation and forgiveness among the population.
I'm hopeful that we are allowing God's resurrecting power to work His purpose out in our lives, to raise us daily from a life where there may be any strife to a life of peace, from a life where there may be any animosity to that of offering only goodwill, from a life where there may be disregard for God in our lives to that of establishing a firm relationship with God, a life where there may be selfishness and greed to one where there is a generous and caring heart, from a life where there may be any vengeance of an eye for an eye to that of turning the other cheek towards reconciliation and love.
Now you can hear Bishop Maxwell's full message right after the news. Another Oistins Festival, Tony Thorne, has acknowledged that there has been some criticism of the renaming of the annual festival, but she says positive things have also resulted. She was just one of the key speakers at the official opening of the festival yesterday as the event continued to attract hundreds of Barbadians and visitors. Ms. Thorne says there was no disrespect to the fisherfolk or anyone else by the name change, but rather an attempt to embrace more of what Oistins is all about.
We would have been given some added marketing and a little cursing on the airwaves because of the name change. And you might be asking yourself why we changed the name, why we took out the fish. Oistins has to be a festival that includes fish, but is more than just fish. This widens the scope for the involvement of more stakeholders, such as sponsors like Shafat and BADMC. And not only sponsors, but we found that since we've changed the name and really reimagined Oistins, it has worked. For the first time, we've had the involvement of competitors from 2 other fishing communities just today in the net throwing competition. The Muslim community was well represented last night at our mobile cinema, and right across from here, right in the kids zone, young Amara is pushing her henna business.
Meanwhile, patron and founder of the festival, Stella Lady St. John, gave the new chairperson her full support.
She comes bouncing with youth, energy, and ideas to change everything. And isn't that what life is all about? Change from the moment to moment, from hour to hour.
And in his feature address, Minister of the Creative Economy, Culture and Sports, John King, highlighted the work of the youth in helping to add to the variety and life of the festival, and he also gave the rebranded festival his blessing.
Festivals such as this highlight the value of our social history and the story of the masses. It showcases their traditions and practices that come out of their daily lives. It allows everyone to understand that they have a stake in this society. In seafaring communities such as this, we celebrate practices such as fish boning, net making, boat building, and the seafood cuisines. We celebrate these cultural practices and the important figures that contribute to our communities, such as Belinda Cox.
Performances at the opening included the Royal Barbados Police Force Band, the Lester Vaughan School Choir, 2 Weeks Notice, and Aceworks Community Steel Band. Of course, the Oysins Festival continues and culminates tomorrow, and now for one of the events earlier this afternoon. Bonnets of all shapes, sizes, and colors were the order of the day. They came as the first tea party and bonnet parade was rolled out in the festival. Just over 50 children between the ages of 4 and 11 modeled their self-made hats before the crowd and a panel of judges. Organizer Tony Thorne is optimistic the event will continue to grow to attract about 500 contestants in the future. Now, on the top 10 list of favorite holidays, Christmas is number 1, while Easter comes in 4th, but not so for Joyce Jordan. As we hear in this Rianne Phillips report, Easter is her favorite time of the year.
At 87 years old, Joyce Jordan has seen her share of Easter celebrations. It's an occasion she loves. In fact, her celebrations last for almost a week instead of 3 days, starting on Palm Sunday.
I sit down and make all of those crosses, over 1,000, to distribute. And while I am making them, I am asking God to bless every home and every hand that received them. So that even when they get to the church and the reverend they had time to bless them, I had already blessed them.
While others focus on the Easter bunny, she pays more attention to the religious elements.
Once you find Christ, you don't want the Easter bunny, you want Christ. You follow me? We throw away the bunny and we cling to Jesus. After well, the Bible tell when you was a child, you thought as a child and you learned to tell, but when you become a man, you throw away those kind of things.
And while kites are mainly associated with Easter, she admits she hasn't mastered the modern day kite making technique as yet.
I never tried making the kites. What we used to do is get the newspaper and the can start the thing and clip the paper, you fold the paper and you clip it and then you run through those bones. I think that's the only kite you can make.
Miss Jordan intends to pass on her knowledge of cross making in the future. Rianne Phillips, CBC News.
Well, tributes continue to flow for Sir Alistair McIntyre, who passed away. Regarded as one of the Caribbean's foremost academics and integrationists, Sir Alistair died yesterday in Jamaica at the age of 87. Prime Minister Mia Motley led the tributes, describing Sir Alistair as a son of Grenada and the Caribbean, who will forever be remembered as one of the region's most treasured scholars, a respected economist, educator, administrator, and true champion of regional integration. Noting her long association with Sir Alistair, Ms. Motley said she counted herself fortunate to have the opportunity to learn at an early age from her interactions with him and many other great Caribbean men and women as they served the region through building the University of the West Indies. The Prime Minister expressed her deepest sympathies to Sir Alistair's wife, children, grandchildren, and close friends. Also paying tribute was Vice-Chancellor of the University of the West Indies, Sir Hilary Beckles, who described the news of Sir Alistair's death as shocking. Sir Hilary said the richness of Sir Alistair's contributions to the growth and transformation of the UWI will continue to yield development dividends deep into the future. An economist by training, Sir Alistair graduated from the London School of Economics and Political Science with first-class honours. He also served as a director at the United Nations Conference on Trade and Development and later in the office of the Secretary General of the United Nations. And Barbados has joined the voice of the international community in strongly condemning those behind today's deadly attacks in Sri Lanka. Prime Minister Mia Motley extended sympathy to all who have been personally touched by what she labelled as a hand of evil.
The horror of this Easter massacre is exacerbated by the fact that persons were simply trying to be at peace as they praise their God. I know that I speak for the entire country when I say that there is no place in today's world for such barbaric acts that slaughter innocent people, whatever may be the cause of those who perpetrate such acts of terror. The time for dialogue is never over. We must use these occasions, such as Easter, to promote dialogue among all of our people, especially those of opposing views and customs, wherever they exist in this world.